Yeah, perfect.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. We are featuring over the next week or 10 days some exceptional raw vegan chefs who are doing recipes from the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, and we'll have information linked right below in the chat and in the show notes. And we're having such amazing, delicious recipes created this week, and I'm so excited for today's live broadcast. One, because it's coming from Nicaragua. I don't think I've had a guest from that country yet, but also because it's sauces, and it doesn't matter how you eat, everybody needs some flavor. So she's calling this next level flavor bombs. I cannot wait. She's going to be making 3 sauces. Please welcome to the show, Danielle Arsenault. It's very nice to meet you. And how the heck did you end up in Nicaragua?
Wow, Nicaragua. It's a magical place. Actually, originally I went traveling, backpacking, and ended up in Costa Rica. And then there was just sort of some things that made me keep moving forward. I left Costa Rica, came to Nicaragua. I heard about this island called the island of Ometepe. It is so incredible. It's got 2 volcanoes. One is active and the other is dormant. So it's a magical paradise in the middle of Lake Nicaragua, 2 volcanoes. And when I got here, I felt home. And so for the last 3-4 years, I've been coming back and forth. And now we're here, and we have a resort, and I just bought land, and I'm so excited. Yeah.
That is so interesting. Yesterday, we actually broadcast 2 raw chefs, one from Costa Rica and one from Malaysia. So it's amazing to me because that you're doing this somewhere else, because it seems for a lot of people, raw food diet is we have to demystify it, because honestly, it's one of the easiest diets because it really doesn't involve cooking. You don't really need any special equipment other than maybe a blender, and you can pretty much get fruits and vegetables everywhere. But I think it's really helping people to see what kind of things you can create.
Yeah, exactly. And, I know you know this too, but it's not, all or nothing. I think some people are very, they can feel a bit overwhelmed or a little bit intimidated by thinking that, okay, raw food, that means I need everything to be raw all the time. And that's not the case. We all need to eat just a little bit more raw food for the fiber, for the nutrition content, to fill our stomachs with good food versus, the standard American diet. But it doesn't mean that you have to do it 100% to get the benefits. And that's what I teach in my courses, that there can be a little bit of cooked food in the diet. And I know you know this too: potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, whole grains, quinoa, and these things can be a welcome addition to a very balanced diet. You just have to find out what works for you. So,
right. Yes. I agree. I think that's what alienates some people, is when they have a certain guru saying it's all or nothing. And that doesn't work for most people.
No, we are human beings, and we will rebel pretty much anytime we're given the chance. And so if someone tells you that you have to be a certain way and you need to fit in a box, a lot of people are going to actually go the opposite way and become closed off. So this is all about adding on, the add-on diet, more the addition of these foods on top of what you're already eating. And then you can start to transition. I also think too, knowing that raw food isn't just salad, that it's pizza and burgers and crackers and cheese and all these things, can also really pique people's interests.
Absolutely. And people have to know that there are people that are very well known in the raw community that don't eat 100% raw 100% of the time. Like the owner of the culinary school I went to, Sherry Soria, raw for many years, but she eats some legumes now and then, or steamed vegetables. She doesn't, look at like, all cooked food is poison, you're going to die.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, there's still going to be protein. There's still going to be carbohydrates. There's still nutrition in cooked food. But when you cook food, you lose some enzymes, you lose some vitamins. But having sort of a balance of everything and a huge variety. Sorry, I'm on the school of thought of Dr. B, Dr. Bolsowitz. You had him on your show, and I love his book, Fiber Fueled. And in that book, he says the variety is the key. And I fully believe that. So I do also include some cooked food into my diet, but, I discovered that a plant-based diet is what works for me. And so that's where I go through my food.
Great. And when did you first hear about the raw food diet? Were you vegan already first? Tell us a little bit about your personal journey.
Yeah, I became vegetarian when I was 17 years old, really due to peer pressure. A friend of mine, she was like, I don't want to eat meat. And I'm like, me neither. And so I became vegetarian at 17. And then when I graduated, I got my first degree, fine arts degree. And then I went and did another degree. I got a Bachelor of Education, and I finished that in Mexico. And when I was in Mexico, I discovered sort of the ins and outs of the animal agriculture industry and sort of factory farming. And I just decided I didn't want to participate in that whatsoever. So I decided to cut all animal products out of my diet. But I was kind of a junk food vegan for a while. And I know you know this as well. Like, it really depends on the actual food that you eat. Just because you remove animal products from your diet, it doesn't mean that what's left over is nutrient dense and rich and builds health. So there was a moment in time where I sort of really got into cooking. After my tour in Mexico, I was there for 3 years. I moved to South Korea and I lived there for 4 years. And that's when I just dove so deep into food. I learned how to ferment. I sort of have adapted kimchi as one of my favorite foods. And really within that time, I discovered there's a big difference between just vegan food and whole plant-based nutrient-dense food. And then that's the way that I wanted to go. And something really crazy happened in 2011. I went on a rock climbing tour to Turkey. I had been climbing for about 5 years at that point, and it was a real passion of mine. So I was able to travel to so many different countries. I've been to over 30 countries traveling. And when I got to Turkey, I met this friend, and we went climbing in a cave, and I saw this girl climb this amazing route that looked really hard, but I said, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I got on this climb and I started climbing, and my arms got so tired. By the time I got to the anchor, I was so tired that I couldn't hang on anymore. And my partner, who had only met 5 days before, said, go ahead, take the fall. I've got you. So I said, okay. Even telling the story, I'm getting nervous because it was so intense. So I did a 1, 2, 3 count, probably twice, and I pushed off. And somehow midair, the rope got caught behind my leg, flipped me upside down. I wasn't wearing a helmet. I knew that I was going to hit my head, so I covered my head and smashed my back against the wall. And I broke 5 ribs. I punctured my lung, and I had to self-rescue off the mountain with a lung filling with fluid. And there was no one coming to rescue me. So my partner and I, a couple other climbers who heard the fall came. They kind of supported me, and I literally walked off the mountain because that was the only way. They tried to carry me. It was too much movement. So holding my body, I walked off that mountain. I crossed a river, and I got into an ambulance. And then I went straight to the hospital, had pneumothoracic surgery, emergency surgery, spent 10 days in the hospital, and it changed my life forever because it showed me that I have another chance, that I can now choose. What do I want to do with my life? How do I want to see the world? How do I want to help people to be of service? And I was already sort of on the food journey, and it just made so much sense to me that I was going to dedicate my life to improving people's health, to showing people how food can heal the body. Because after that accident, I healed my body with whole plant-based, mostly raw foods. And in 4 months, after the doctor said I would not climb for 2 years, in 4 months, I was climbing again. It's been 10 years. I have zero pain whatsoever, even though I have 2 floating ribs still to this day. And I attribute all of it to the food that I nourish my body with. Because there is no way that if I was eating the standard American diet, high in inflammatory compounds, there is no way that I would have been able to heal my body. And so through that whole experience, I dove super deep into the nutrition behind food, and I learned how to make delicious food. But I learned how to make food, but there was a problem because it wasn't delicious. I went to the Ann Wigmore Institute, a foundational person who totally inspired me with the food, but I realized that food wasn't going to be sustainable for the masses, and that it needed to taste more flavorful and a little bit better for other people, just regular Joe Schmoes, to eat healthy. And so I then went into culinary school, and I graduated from the Raw Foundation Culinary Arts Institute.
Where's
But then
that?
I also,
I don't think I've heard of that school. Where is it?
it's in Vancouver. Yeah. Yeah. And I did all her programs up until the Raw Food Chef Educator program. And then I also realized another thing. And you know this too. Such calorie dense cashew cheesecakes, date crusts, energy balls. And I realized that the nutrient density was there, but the caloric density was so high that if I ate like that, I would certainly gain weight, because you can't eat so much caloric dense food. You'll want to eat more, and like the stomach, it only fills this much of the stomach, so you're not satiated, so you want to eat more. So I basically have taken these two schools of thought, the gourmet, the delicious, the mouth-watering, and the super healthy whole sprouts, wheatgrass. I've morphed them together into my own pedagogy, and that's what I teach through my online and in-person certification courses. I teach people to become raw food chefs, and I empower them in the kitchen, not only to make this healthy food, but to be able to do it themselves without a recipe from scratch. And that all starts with flavor balancing. That all starts with, learning basic skills like knife skills. But yeah, flavor balancing, I think, is one of the top skills as a chef that you really need to learn. And so, yeah, that's why I thought, okay, I could talk about flavor balancing. But since I'm going to show you these recipes, I thought, why not call it, 3 flavor bomb sauces to, take your food to the next level? Because really that's what it does. It's flavor, it's packed full of those 5 flavors that we're looking for, which is sweet, salty, sour. The bitter comes naturally through foods. Umami, which is like a deep, savory, satisfying flavor. And if you can balance those in the right way, then you really will have delicious gourmet food that makes you come back for more.
That is cool. I went to a raw vegan culinary school called Living Light. I didn't realize there were ones in other countries. How long ago did you go, and how long of a program was it?
Well, the Raw Foundation Culinary Arts Institute, I went there in 2012, and then I actually started my own business in 2013. So I have been grinding and working my butt off for the last 8 years to bring my culinary school to the forefront of, the most comprehensive raw food chef certification on the planet. And I've used, there's 24 modules. It gets into sort of everything that you can think about, from fermentation to sprouting to raw desserts to oil-free to even one module on cooked comfort foods, because we're finding that balance, and it applies to a lot of people's lives. Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love it. I love that you had so much training.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a forever student. I'm even looking into becoming a holistic nutritionist now, although I've been offered to teach the courses in the new holistic nutrition program. So it's kind of interesting, because I'm at a moment where I know so much when it comes to that holistic nutrition piece, but I don't have that exact certification. First and foremost, I'm a teacher. So I've been creating curriculum for 20 years. I'm a teacher, and then I became a chef after that. So I have kind of married those two things. And what I realized is my deepest passion is teaching. It's teaching before making the food. But through the food is where my passion comes and where my teaching really comes alive, because food is so tasty.
I love it. Well, you know the question everybody gets asked if you've ever watched this show: what does Danielle eat in a day?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm probably going to say something that many other people say, because it's quality. And in the morning, green smoothie, but definitely a glass of water when I wake up. I just became a mom. My daughter's 20 months old, and we have like our little morning routine where we have our water together and brush our teeth. And then we come to the kitchen and we make a green smoothie. And so I say green smoothie because I'm always going to be putting in dark leafy greens. I'm always switching them up to get different nutrient profiles. I've got moringa trees growing here on the property, so that's a usual staple in my smoothies. This morning we juiced orange juice from the orange tree, grapefruit juice from the grapefruit tree, lime juice from the lime tree, and we added papaya and passion fruit and pineapple with a ton of moringa. So the green smoothie is super amazing for breakfast, and I always try to switch it up and make it a little bit different. Fruits, greens, some vegetables too. If you have a hard time eating lots of vegetables, you can throw in some carrots, you can throw in a red pepper, to get that variety. And then for lunch, I usually try to do a big salad. If you've ever traveled to Nicaragua, you'll know that their staple favorite food is called gallo pinto, which is basically beans and rice mixed together with some onion and some peppers. And because I do eat a bit of cooked food, sometimes I'll add like a scoop of gallo pinto to my massive salad for, like I said, different nutrients, fiber content and whatnot. But most of what I eat is raw. And so I've learned that over the years that my body does well with little bits of cooked food and mostly raw and super nutrient dense. So I do eat a lot of superfoods. And I'm going to be making some sauces here, but as you mentioned earlier, the main amazing thing that you can do with your food is add an amazing sauce, because you can put sauce on any plain old normal vegetable and it can be the best thing that you've ever tasted. So so these sauces, because they're a part of the new book that I put out, that's part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It's called Tropical Treats and Savory Eats. I printed it out. And so I have the cover here. I'm not sure if it shows backwards, but
and that's your offering in the bundle.
Yeah, and so these sauces that I have don't have any oil. They're whole food. They do have a pinch of salt, but also that you don't have to add salt for saltiness, right? Like celery has its own saltiness. Tomatoes have their own saltiness. So when we talk about flavor balancing, you can actually use food to balance flavors. You don't have to always add like sugar and salt. You can add sweet fruit and a salty vegetable. So these do have a pinch of salt, but if you are eating salt-free, you can just exclude that.
Hey, you're giving our viewers a gift, aren't you? A beautiful Tropical Treats and Savory Eats. Were you giving that as a gift or?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to give it as a gift. If anybody knows me, I'm a giver. I can give your people that, but you'll get the Tropical Treats and Savory Eats if you get the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. But I'd like to give your viewers anyways this book, and so we've included a code. But if you get the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, then you get like 50 more books for just a little bit more. So
that is so incredibly kind and generous of you. Thank you so much. And I hope they'll check out the bundle because like you say, there's so many courses in there.
Yes, courses and ebooks. And I've been experimenting over the last week because I'm also doing some lives. Some of these recipes are insanely delicious. I feel so lucky to be a part of it because I get the bundle myself. And I've been experimenting and playing in the kitchen all week. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, I know. It's fun seeing all the chefs do all the other chefs' recipes.
Yeah. And I really love the community that comes together. I created the Raw Food Chef Alliance. It's very, very new in its infancy, but I created this organization to bring together raw food chefs around the world. So it's a slow go, but this is where we all start. We all start somewhere. And this is one of the lessons that I'm learning, with my business, with my passion. It's like you just have to keep going and never give up. And I also recently watched your show on Rich Roll. He is such an inspiration to me, and I absolutely love his shows. And he said something in your show that was kind of along the same lines of that, people never see the backstory of all the hard work that gets put into things. They just see the success and then they think, oh, this person, they're so lucky. They did, oh, whoa, I've been working for 40 hours a week for the last 8 years, so.
That's like they say that in show business too. Somebody wins an award for best actor but I've been studying acting for like 40 years. Like you say, they only see the outcome. They don't see the process.
Yeah. So that's sort of, some inspiration to people who are working really, really hard and maybe they're not seeing the results. Like just don't give up. If you believe in yourself, if you have passion, and if your passion is going to help others, ultimately you're on the right path and you just got to keep going.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you are making 3 sauces and they all sound amazing.
Yeah, I can just smell everything right here in front of me. It's like, yeah. So the first sauce that I'm going to make is called the garlic flavor bomb sauce. So this is one of the sauces in the ebook. And I discovered this just because out of laziness, actually. When I'm making food, I don't like to just chop up one garlic at a time. So what I did was I just put a whole bunch of garlic together at the same time. And then around that time, I was also reading Dr. Michael Greger's book, How Not to Die. And in there, he talks about how if you chop garlic ahead of time and you leave it to sit for about 10 minutes, the allicin, which is one of the chemical constituents within it, starts to mix and create other compounds, which are actually anti-cancer compounds. So here I did discover this, flavor bomb sauce that also has potential, to be an anti-cancer food. So it starts with garlic. And then after I made this sauce, I also discovered it can be the perfect marriage with a whole bunch of other sauces. So then I've used that concept in the cookbook where, the garlic flavor bomb sauce is like the base, or it's like a staple. And then a few other sauces have like a scoop of the garlic flavor bomb sauce. So you have it like multiple uses for this sauce. So we're going to start with a ton of garlic. Garlic is so medicinal. Even Hippocrates himself, who's considered the father of modern medicine, he prescribed garlic to his patients. So I think that's pretty special. And we all know garlic is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It can help boost immunity. It's really a medicine. Pineapple because of the sweet balance. So I'm adding pineapple. Another fact that I learned about pineapple that it just blows my mind and gives me so much appreciation for Mother Nature. It takes a whole year to grow a pineapple. So it's like every time you dig into that pineapple, think the whole year that pineapple was growing so you could consume it. So it gives me really appreciation for the pineapple.
It really takes that long. I had no idea it took that long.
Yeah, I know. And we have some here and I haven't even seen any pineapples. So it's a waiting game. The next amazing food that I'm going to add here is turmeric. I have a special surprise for you. I wanted to show you because maybe some of your viewers have never seen turmeric growing. They don't know what it looks like in the wild. So I actually picked it this morning, chopped up it here so we can add it. Turmeric is one of the most anti-inflammatory foods that are known to man. And when you add a little pinch of black pepper, what you're going to do, it enhances our body's ability to absorb the curcumin, which is that anti-inflammatory compound. So take a look. This is the turmeric plant. So it's huge, it's got the leaves, and then this is the root. So as you can see, that is just a ton of turmeric. And wash it off and chop it up.
I had no idea. I mean, when I've seen it, it was like this big in the store. I had no idea it came like that.
Yeah, and it grows and grows and grows, and it grows deeper and deeper and deeper. So you have to get a really big shovel to get it out. And then one really cool thing too that my friend here on the island showed me is that if you look at this and you have no idea what it is, but if you just break the leaf, it smells exactly like turmeric. So when I'm looking for turmeric, I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like turmeric. I'm not really sure. It's turmeric. So that's pretty cool. Got to process that later.
Amazing. One of the things I find so interesting is like yesterday's guest, you did a TED Talk. How are y'all, you raw fooders, getting these TED Talks? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things like that passion, that drive to share my message with more people. My TED Talk has over 50,000 views, or about 50,000 the last time I checked. And it's all about seaweed, sauerkraut, and sprouts. And really, when I say sauerkraut, I mean fermented foods. And I'm just going to make a fermented food today, which is the cashew sour cream, which is another staple to be a base for many other sauces. So yeah, it's called The Power of Plants.
I'm going to post a link to it right now in the show notes.
Awesome. The next food I want to add to the sauce is ginger. Now, a ginger is another medicinal food. It's been used for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, over 4,000 years. And it kind of looks like the shape of a stomach, and it's really good for your stomach. It's good. It's an anti-nausea. It can help you when you're feeling ill. So I love to add ginger. I also like to juice it. And then I'll keep like a little juice of the ginger juice in my fridge, so then I just can add the juice really easily. Again, one of those lazy hacks, because I don't want to wash the ginger and chop it up every single time, so it's just ready to go. What else is in this delicious sauce? Tamari. So tamari is a soy sauce alternative. It does have salt in it. You don't have to add this. I've added this as sort of a more of a umami flavor, but the garlic does that itself. So this could be optional, but I am going to add it to mine. And one of my favorite spices, it's the most popular, well, second popular spice in the whole world. Do you know what that is?
Well, I want to say vanilla.
Oh, okay, vanilla. Yeah, I'll talk about vanilla too. Vanilla is the third most expensive spice in the world, next to saffron and cardamom and vanilla.
I didn't realize, I thought vanilla was number 2. I didn't realize cardamom was more expensive than vanilla.
I don't know exactly, but they're the top 3 for sure. And then the most traded spice from way back when and still to this day is black pepper, right? Obviously. But the next one down the line is cumin, because cumin is used in Indian food. It's used in Mexican food. It's used in Thai food. It's used in Vietnamese food. So many different cultures use this amazing digestive spice. It's great for digestion, and it's my favorite spice. My mom used to show me it when I was a little girl, and we used to joke that it was the smell of armpits. That probably it's not appetizing, but that's what my mom said. What else? Oh, of course, we need to balance it with a little bit of sour. So we're going to add some lime juice, and like I said, I was able to squeeze that from my tree this morning. And then a pinch of salt. Okay. It might not need salt, but salt will also help it last a lot longer. This sauce can last months in the fridge. So that's another reason that I love it, because it doesn't go off right away. There's no water in it. And if you add water to your sauces, they can go off a lot faster. So wish we had like a speed up / silent mode button, but we don't. So I'll just do this really quickly and be right back. So quick, done, easy, delicious. It takes more time to peel the garlic than it does to actually make the sauce. So this sauce is now the base of many other sauces. And, use your creativity. It's a flavor bomb. It's got almost all the flavors in it. Of course, I should always taste, though, before I go crazy. Whoa. It's so intense because it's mostly garlic, but it's very beautifully balanced. So I do taste a tiny bit of sweetness from the pineapple, the little pinch of salt, and the salt from the tamari. It's got that cumin. But yeah, definitely the garlic rings through. So I'm just going to take out one nice heaping scoop of this, because it's going to be in the next recipe that I make. Now I'm hungry. Woo. Very delicious and powerful. All right, I'm just going to move some stuff around and get ready for the next sauce. But yeah, I heard that you love hot sauce. So this next sauce
I do love hot sauce, actually. Not, as long as it's not too hot.
Yeah. And then, so to make it hot or less hot, there's oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a scale of pepper hotness.
The Scoville scale.
The Scoville scale. Yeah, and so I'm going to be using some chilies called Chili Congo. I don't even know if they're on the Scoville scale because they're quite I don't know what they're called, but everyone in Nicaragua calls them the Chili Congo. So they're tiny, little, teeny tiny ones. We keep the seeds in them because it's too hard to remove. And those are going to be the base of the hotness for the hot sauce. All right. So next machine. Gotta be prepared in advance. Yeah, so then this is a crazy story from this morning. I wanted to make this mango Congo hot sauce from the cookbook, but it's not mango season here. This is another thing that the tropics have taught me over the years that I've been here, is that, really living with the seasons. And I know Chris Kendall, who is part of the Vegan Bundle, who's one of the organizers of it. And his slogan is, it has seasonal fruit in it. And for me, that makes so much sense, right? We're eating in tune with the seasons. What is Mother Earth bringing us? Obviously, it's harder when, I'm from Canada originally. So living in Canada in the wintertime, not easy to get a lot of in-season things. So you might go out of season. And that's the typical pattern of a North American. But here in the tropics, they don't import stuff. So if it's not in season, it's nowhere to be found. Like avocados. We have an avocado tree. It's the first year that it actually harvested, and we had 40 avocados. So it's like we have too many avocados, and now there are no avocados anywhere. And the same with mangoes. We have this beautiful mango tree by the house. It was dropping mangoes 1 every 10 minutes, and there's no mangoes. I even asked a friend to look off island in the capital city, which is 4 hours from here, including the ferry ride. No mangoes to be found. And I was thinking about the mangoes, and right at that very moment, a mango fell out of the tree. It was a black mango, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And I picked it up, and I kind of felt it. I took off the skin, and it was perfect on the inside. And I was like, my life, it's like when I pay attention to the things that are shown to me, I have to have something to be grateful for. So somewhat gave me a mango this morning so I could make this mango hot sauce for you when there were no mangoes anywhere to be found. So that's the first ingredient.
Well, you seem like you are a very lucky person.
Yes, always grateful. That is a practice that I employ all the time, in any moments when I'm feeling low or when I'm struggling, or if I start to feel like a victim mentality creep over, I practice gratitude and look around me and realize, wow, how lucky am I? And that feeling, that sentiment kind of gets rid of the deep, the shadow, right? Yeah. All right. What else do we have? Passion fruit from our passion fruit tree. So I'm going to cut this open right here because it's so juicy. Oh my gosh. So delicious. So passion fruit, I don't know, it's sweet and it's sour. So we're going to add that, and we'll put actually a whole passion fruit. Because I only got that one mango from the sky, I'm also going to add a little bit of pineapple. So I'm going off the recipe. Pineapple, super high in enzymes, and it's great for the body. It's high in bromelain as well, which can help our thyroid. So I'm just gonna add a bit of pineapple. So instead of mango hot sauce, we can call this like tropical sauce. Tropical hot sauce.
The hot part that you showed at the beginning, are these available everywhere?
Despite the chilies?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen them. It's almost a weed, the tree. It kind of just pops up everywhere. But you could honestly substitute any chili pepper you want. Normally we recommend that you get rid of the seeds. I have like a tip. I don't have one to show you, but to get rid of the seeds without touching, because that's a big issue if people touch the seeds. So it's basically if you got the pepper, you cut the top off of it, and you roll the pepper between your hand. And then you cut, this is what I do. Fling it, I go outside and fling the seeds out. Maybe this is why there's chili pepper bushes popping up around my property. But fling the seeds out, and then you have a seedless chili pepper. You didn't touch it, and now you can use it. So yeah, let's add those chilies. And I'm starting to sweat. It's quite hot here. Turmeric, so some more turmeric. We're gonna add that. And we'll add some cilantro, but it's called culantro here. So something else that you might be really interested in seeing, I don't know if you can see this. Have you seen this before? Have you ever used this?
I'm not sure. What is it?
It's culantro.
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
Yeah, culantro. It's pretty much identical in flavor to cilantro, but it's super tropical hardy, so it grows very easily here. Whereas the cilantro, it's a little bit more difficult, or maybe they just don't grow it as part of the culture here. So culantro, it also has the same properties as cilantro, so it can help chelate heavy metals, it can help absorb toxins and rid our bodies of toxins. So we're going to add a bunch of that. I personally am on the fence of love cilantro. I love it. I know some people can be like, oh, I hate cilantro, love cilantro. You don't have to put cilantro in this recipe, but it really does bring that tropicalness together. If you wanted to, you could swap it out for basil. That would be a great substitute. Okay, and then we've got, okay, of course, our garlic flavor bomb sauce. Oh, the wind's picking up, blowing stuff around. Okay, let's add this garlic flavor bomb sauce so that we know has all that umami flavor and all the other balanced flavors. Okay, and it calls for pepper, but I already put pepper in the other sauce. So we're gonna process this. So you could put it in the Vitamix if you wanted it in a blender, but I like the speckled color because you'll see that it has a bit of the seed from the passion fruit.
You know, your sound right after the blender, your sound just went a little bit low. I don't know
Oh
why.
yeah, that's a feature of Zoom.
Oh,
It
okay.
actually cuts the super high sounds out. So
Nice.
I think that's neat. Yeah. So this sauce has speckles of the hot peppers. It has speckles of the seeds of the passion fruit and the cilantro. So I like it this way. You could blend it if you wanted to, but I like it this way. So this can be, oh, you could use this for so many things. I mean, like a dip, you could add it to a salad dressing, you could add it to a salad, you could put it on noodles, you could eat it with crackers. So I have some flax crackers that I made the other day. Now, just as far as like flavor balancing and taste and mouth go, I wouldn't actually eat just the flax crackers and the mango hot sauce because there's something missing, the fat component. So what is the fat component? Well, that's the third sauce that I'm going to make. And it is a fermented, like a basic fermented cashew cheese. Now, fermentation, I mean, you might have to have me on another show because I could talk for hours about fermentation. But I'll just mention that it's one of the most ancient techniques of food preservation. It has been practiced in almost every culture all over the world, from Vietnam, Nam Pla, it's a fermented fish sauce, or Thailand, sorry. Lutefisk in Sweden, which is a fermented fish. We've got miso from Japan, doenjang from Korea. There's just, sauerkraut from Germany, which I just recently discovered actually came from China a long time ago. And then kimchi, of course, in Korea. As I mentioned, I lived in Korea and I became so enamored with fermented foods. And I just dove deep into that subject and realized how powerful they can be for the gut, the microbiome, and then our overall health. And, Dr. B, I'm a big fan and I agree with everything he says. And, he says that eating fermented food can really help improve your gut health overall. And then your gut health improves your every other part of the body, from your skin to your sleep, to your digestion, to your energy levels, everything. So it's pretty incredible what you can do and what happens with the body when you include fermented foods in the diet. So the trick of fermented foods is, though, you must be patient. There is no rushing fermented foods. It's the slow movement. So in order to actually make cashew cheese here in front of you, I had to make it last night because I needed to leave it overnight to ferment. So I have it here in the jar, but I'm going to make another batch right now to show you. And this is fermented. So if you stir it down, I don't know if you can see, but there's like some bubbles inside. And it should be sour, just like cheese, right? This is actually how they make cheese. If you want to do a hard aged cashew cheese, you can take it to the next level by hardening it. And actually there's a recipe in my cookbook on the next page after you make this basic cheese. So this is kind of step 1, and then to age it and harden it is step 2.
Do you have to have salt to ferment?
No. So what I use is I actually use probiotic capsules. So this is a vegan capsule, and I use the probiotic capsules. That's what we're gonna do right now. We'll blend them up. Let's get ready for that, actually. Another thing that I normally don't do in my own kitchen is I'm not even gonna really rinse out the blender, although I do have to pour it out. Because would it be terrible if my cashew cheese had a little bit of leftover garlic flavor bomb sauce flavor? No. It would probably make it even better. So I'm just gonna, I don't want too much because I still want the cashew cheese to, be the main flavor, but a little bit of garlic. Yeah, I'm definitely a pro allium. I love garlic, onion, chives, shallots, leeks, anything. I think that they're medicine. I even have a tattoo of an onion on my leg.
That's cool. I had Chef Eric Tucker has tattoo of mushroom on his arm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got the onion. I actually have a guacamole recipe on my arm. It's in white ink. You can't see it because it's white ink, but yeah, it's a guacamole recipe. So there's an avocado and a lime and here. I wonder if I can show you. It's really tough to see, but I don't know if you can see, like there's the lime, and then there's some cilantro, and there's a tomato. Anyways, it's all there. It's all there.
That's cool.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of leftover garlic flavor bomb sauce in here. I think that's a wonderful way to not waste it. Another thing I teach my students in my courses is how to repurpose food and not waste a drop, because there is so much waste in the food industry. Actually, a really incredible, really short video on YouTube really opened my eyes to food waste in the industry. It's called The Life of a Strawberry. It shows, this process of you growing the strawberry, so at the farm, the water, the love, the everything, the energy that it takes to grow that strawberry, and then how it gets picked, and then how it gets packed, and then how it gets shipped to the grocery store, and then how it waits in the grocery store, and then how someone grabs it and takes it home and sticks it in the back of their fridge and forgets about it, and it rots, and then they throw it in the garbage. And it's like, oh, I'm getting chills even talking about it. Like, many people do not see where their food comes from, where it comes from, the whole process involved, and then when it gets to you. There's like a disassociation between where our food comes from. And I always encourage my students, what is the backstory of the food? Where did it come from? Who handled it? Were there chemicals applied? Is it organic? All that kind of stuff. And then how to use every last drop. And I created this thing called the Soggy salad cracker. My friends tell me that's a gross name, so I should change it to super salad cracker. But the whole point is that you're using up your old soggy salad that you're probably going to throw out because you're never going to eat it because it's a soggy salad. But you feel bad because it was organic kale and it was expensive, and so you keep it in the fridge until it's just not good. You use the soggy salad cracker, you throw it in the food processor with flax, nutritional yeast, and maybe some sunflower seeds. You blend it up, and then you spread it on a Teflon sheet, throw it in the dehydrator, and you literally have crackers. So you've reused something that would have been waste. That's just one of the things that we go over. Okay, I am using soaked cashews for the basic cashew cheese. I've soaked them overnight so they're nice and soft, and I'm just going to drain them right now.
I kind of like the name Soggy salad cracker. Soggy salad. What was that? I like that.
Soggy salad crackers.
I kind of like it, actually. I think it's cute.
It's like hooking, right? It's like, what? Like, it makes you go, what? Instead of super salad crackers. Okay, yeah, super wonderful. But soggy salad crackers? Like, what do you mean? How do you make them? There's all these questions that come up. So I think that's the point. All right. Let's throw in those soaked cashews. And the next thing that I'm going to add is nutritional yeast. This is an optional ingredient, especially because it's actually not from the tropics, but I love it so much that I included it. You don't have to put it in there, but nutritional yeast is a deactivated form of yeast that grows on molasses. So it's actually part of the sugar industry, like a byproduct of the sugar industry, but they make it in bulk. And it has B12, and it just provides a cheesy flavor. So we're talking about making cashew cheese. I wanted to replicate that cheesy flavor, so I added a bit of nutritional yeast. The next thing is lemon juice, because I want it to be sour with that balance. Actually blending it with the probiotics and letting it ferment, the sourness will start to be pronounced as well during the fermentation process. But this lemon juice, there's no replacement. Actually, there is a replacement. You could use apple cider vinegar if you wanted. But since I have so many lemons around, I thought I might as well use them. Okay, and now here's the secret, the probiotics. If you don't have probiotics, you can use a starter culture from another fermented food. And one of those things could be sauerkraut. You could make your own sauerkraut, and then you could use the juice of the sauerkraut to add to your cashew cheese instead of water. And when you blend it, that will actually ferment it. So, but I use the probiotics because for me, it's tried and tested, and it works 100% of the time. Plus, it's extra probiotics in my diet. But if you don't want to pay for probiotics, you can use it with sauerkraut juice or kimchi juice, which also provides a really nice flavor. If you've ever actually mixed kimchi and cashew sour cream together, it's insane. It's like sriracha mayo, like times 10, way better, and fermented, so really good for the gut. The next one is water, because we want it to blend, and pinch of salt, again, optional.
Margaret wants to know, is half an hour enough to soak the cashews?
Yeah, sure. I prefer do them overnight. This is actually a tip for all the people that are interested in learning more about raw food. Raw food isn't more difficult, but it does require a little bit more forethought. So I'm in the habit of soaking my nuts and seeds ahead of time, even though I don't even know what I'm going to use them for, or making sprouts, even though I don't know what I'm going to use them for. So if you have some soaked cashews ahead of time, then you know. But yeah, half an hour would be fine. One of the tips that people use is just warm water or hot water, and it goes faster. So the soaking process will be faster. Okay, let's blend. Where we got here? Did you make sure you got everything? Okay, power's on. One thing that you want to keep in mind is always taste your food. That's really good. It's a bit sour. Maybe I put too much. So one other thing that came to my mind was, if you don't have sauerkraut and you don't have probiotics, but you made cashew cheese at a friend's house, you can take a scoop of the old cashew cheese, and that can be the starter for your new cashew cheese. So I literally, instead of putting probiotic capsules, I could have put 2 scoops of this into this, and it would have started the fermentation process all over again. That's kind of the concept between sourdough, right? We have sourdough bread. It's this continual bacteria culture that's fed, and it's continually alive. And so you can do that as well for different ferments in the kitchen. Could be for sauerkraut too. You can use the juice of your sauerkraut to make your kimchi, etc. Okay, so just here and here. And this is what this plate is missing. It's actually missing some vegetables too, but I don't have any prepped right now, so I'm not going to do that. I have another spoon. Yeah,
It's lunchtime where you are, right?
it is, yeah, something like that. So now I really do want to eat this because I know that the fattiness of the cashew cheese and the flavor craziness of the mango with the crunch of the crackers is going to be amazing. The only thing that's missing is like maybe some other veggies or like cucumber or a couple slices of tomato, something like that on there. Yeah, but that's basically, that's that. That's that.
And how long will your sauces last in the refrigerator?
Right. So again, like I mentioned, if there's no water content added, they'll last a lot longer. Because the cashew cheese is fermented, it will last indefinitely. You could actually have 6 months old aged cashew cheese because this is how cheese is made, right? It's the exact same process. The fermentation protects it from food poisoning bacteria like salmonella, botulism. It is such a high pH that when the pH rises, the bacteria that's harmful for us can't grow. So it's actually safe. Just like Captain Cook, when he was, navigating the waters and charting the waters, he kept his crew safe from scurvy because they ate sauerkraut, because sauerkraut actually is super high in vitamin C. It enhances in vitamin C as it's fermented. So fermented foods can last years. And even in Korea, they call mature kimchi, which is used in a dish called kimchi jjigae, which is like a stew. And it's been fermented for over a year. And they put it in these big clay pots and they bury the pots, or sometimes not. But basically, they're fermenting it for over a year. So in your fridge, it'll last even longer. When you put a fermented food in the fridge, it doesn't stop completely fermenting. It will slow down really, really slow, but it does actually still continue to ferment in the fridge.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the mango sauce is gonna go off faster. I would say probably 5 days, 6 days because of the water content in the fruit. And fruit is actually something that you shouldn't ferment because fruit sugars end up turning into alcohol. Like I've tried fermented salsa, for example. If I make a fermented salsa with tomato, I'm not going to put the tomatoes in when I ferment it because it will just turn to alcohol and it actually tastes kind of awful. So what I would do is ferment a base. So I'd ferment a base with maybe some sauerkraut, maybe some green pepper, some onion, and I'd ferment that. And then I would add that to fresh tomato, fresh cilantro, fresh lime, and that would be my fermented salsa, even though not the whole thing had been fermented. So that's another tip.
You said you had a young child. Are they eating the same way as you for the most part?
Yeah. Her name's Indy. She's amazing. I love her so much. Obviously, she eats whatever we eat. She has a few preferences that she likes other things more than others. But I always continue to give her the food, even though she says that she doesn't like it. And then eventually they get curious and they try. That's a whole topic for another day, of course, like trying to feed your child and you want them to be healthy. Brushing your teeth, that's another struggle that we have right now. But she loves spirulina and chlorella. I've read a lot of books. Actually, Karen Ramsey, she's in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. I've never met her personally, but one of her books, I think it's called it's something of growing children raw. I can't remember the title exactly, but her book was really revolutionary to sort of give me the confidence to continue to feed my daughter a lot of raw food. She doesn't eat 100% raw, but again, there's that the consciousness of, okay, let's make sure that we're introducing more raw foods. If she won't eat it, I'll blend it into a smoothie or something else, or a sauce on top. She doesn't like avocado on their own. Speaking of which, she's right here. Do you want to meet her?
Absolutely. I'm guessing you had a plant-based pregnancy also, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been vegan for 12 years and I've never wavered. Julieta, ¿quieres traerla aquí? Voy a mostrar a la India, a la gente que está mirando el tele.
Did you know
Yeah.
Spanish before moving to Nicaragua?
I learned Spanish about 15 years ago, but it's always been like a work in progress for sure. When I first originally moved to Mexico, I taught there for 3 years. Hola, mi amor. I taught there for 3 years, and I just started my journey. And even after I left Mexico, I didn't feel like I was fully fluent. Yeah. Ven acá. Whoa! Unos nuevos shorts. Mira. You say hi. She just got a bag.
Cutie. What a cutie.
You say hola. Say hi. Hi. Yeah, she's awesome. So yeah, she's vegan. She's been vegan since birth. Throughout all my pregnancy, I've been. Oh, now she's calling for Booby. Right.
Oh,
You can have
that's
Booby
a whole
and
nother show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. Oh, you want some cashew cheese? Oh, she loves cashews. Want cashew? ¿Puede preguntar a Julieta por cashew? Yummy? Yummy?
That is adorable. Just lick the tamper. That's right.
Here. You want to show Julieta? Julieta, cute? Yeah, I'm so lucky I have
Yeah, she is
Julieta.
precious.
Here, cashew. Cashew. Uh-oh. I knew that would happen.
Oh,
See mama, and then now go for mama. She wants mama.
yeah. Everyone's saying beautiful child. Absolutely
Aw.
precious.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, that's a whole other thing that's just blown my mind, being a mom and all the things that go with that. And yeah, not only that, but the hormones and it's everything. It's like you want everything for your child. You want to do the best, but inevitably you're probably going to mess them up somehow. And then they're going to have to work through that trauma, just like I'm working through mine. And, we're trying our best.
I'm guessing she'll probably grow up bilingual.
Yeah. She already speaks both languages. You can ask her questions in English and she'll answer. You can ask her questions in Spanish and she'll answer. Because she spends a lot of time with Julieta because I work during the day. But the great thing is, like, she's right here. So if she needs me, she can be with me in 5 minutes. So it's been a real blessing to have that help around the house. Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. Does Julieta eat your food too?
Oh yeah, she loves it. She's always like,
Well, imagine, is there a huge raw food or even vegan community in Nicaragua?
Well, surprisingly, and a lot of my friends that live here, they are eating plant-based. Yep. So I have a few friends that are fully plant-based, and then a lot of friends who love the food, but will also eat other things, opportunists, if you will. But there is quite a community here, and I always say, like, as long as you make the food taste so delicious, anybody will eat it. Unless you have like a very specific preference, like you're eating no salt, no oil, no sugar, or if you're allergic to something. But other than that, the food that I make and share has so much love in it. And if someone's skeptical, I won't say, oh yeah, this is raw vegan, by the way. No. Just taste this. Taste this. It's going to blow your mind away. It's healthy. And so I provide the bridge between healthy and delicious. And that's my passion, is to show people how easy it is to make super delicious, healthy, whole foods that taste good and that are sustainable. I remember my brother saying, he goes, Danielle, I don't care how healthy it is. If it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to eat it. And I'm like, yes, this is like the whole concept of my business. It has to taste good. It has to be amazing. And people have to go, wow, wow, wow. And they have to eat the whole thing. And then you can tell them, guess what? You just ate a bunch of food that's anti-inflammatory. It's going to reduce your inflammation. It's going to improve your gut health. You're going to sleep better tonight. Or you're going to feel amazing. You're going to have extra energy, by the way. So that's the goal, is to show people and empower people, teaching them the skills so they can do it at home and that they're confident on their own. I always tell my students, even though these are my recipes, you take them, you tweak them, you make them your own, and then it becomes your own and you become empowered. And that's how we can pay it forward in the world.
I love that. That should be your tagline. I provide the bridge between healthy and delicious.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Marketing. Woo, marketing. That's what I'm diving into now.
People are asking about your necklace, if you could show it.
Yeah, so this is my friend Nati. She lives here too. She's an artisan. She does like, so it's a moonstone, and it's, how do you say, macrame? Yeah, I should have wore the other one. Like, she made me this. This was a gift actually for my birthday. I just turned 40 a few weeks ago. So I had a big party and had lots of people here. We've been so fortunate in Nicaragua where there hasn't been a lot of lockdowns. And so we've all been able to sort of continue to gather. And yeah, this was a gift. So I really love it. So I wear it almost always now.
Nice. What do you do for exercise?
Oh, yeah, exercise. So before I had the baby, I was actually quite a hardcore rock climber. As I mentioned with my accident, I've climbed in 10 countries. I've traveled to over 30, but climbed in 10 countries, Thailand, South Korea, of course, Mexico, Turkey, Spain. And so I used to have really big muscles, and I don't have that many anymore because I got pregnant. I was so nauseous. My whole pregnancy was like not the greatest pregnancy. I was sick all the time. I was emotional all the time. And so I kind of stopped doing exercise. And she's 20 months and I still really haven't picked it back up because there's no climbing here in Nicaragua. But I just bought land, and one of my plans is to build a bouldering cave, a climbing wall. But other than that, I'm hiking on the regular. I bought land actually up the volcano, so it's like quite a hike to get there. I'm hiking around the island a lot. Yeah, I've as far as weight loss go, I don't have the history of being overweight or whatever, but I'm actually probably my most slender I've ever been in my life right now. I call it the Ometepe/breastfeeding diet, which is basically like you're sweating all the time, so you have a low appetite, and then breastfeeding takes a lot of calories, and so I've been using a lot of calories. Yeah, so hiking for sure. Rock climbing is a huge passion of mine still, even though I haven't done it for a while. And I love running, but basically, getting out in nature and just being active in general. Yoga is really present here on the island, and I also do that from time to time. So yeah, moving the body in ways that are maybe unconventional. Also dancing. We have a Sunday dance that's like an ecstatic dance, which is sort of a dance meditation. And within that dance, I could do push-ups, pull-ups, like exercise, if you will, because it's exhausting. It's about an hour and a half of dancing straight. So yeah, all those ways I implement in my diet, in my life, in my lifestyle. Yeah, and lifestyle, diet, it's not just about what we eat. It's a whole package. And that's another thing I want to share with people is that we could eat the most perfect diet and we could do all the exercising, but if we don't have a clear mind, if we're not thinking positively, it's a whole package, right? You can eat the best food, but if you have anxiety because of such stress in your life that you can't control, or stress that just overwhelms you, then the food isn't really going to help you. I mean, yes, it will help you on some level, but that's why it's really about the whole lifestyle, how you think, how you show up in the world, what you practice, and, my partner and I, like, we're co-parents and we're co-parenting Indian. There's these moments where it's like, I could just, but look at myself, hang on. Okay. And the food helps. And that's the thing. It's like food to bring you to a higher consciousness, because when you're eating nutrient dense food that gets all the nutrients you need, then you're able to function at your optimal self. And when you can function at your optimal self and you can grow from that space, you're unstoppable.
Great. That is wonderful. We have a nice comment from Carolyn who says, I'm in the Pachavega Level 1 class, and it's been truly transformational. I'm learning about the power of raw food and how to use it to make delicious recipes. So grateful for Danielle.
Yay, Carolyn, hi. Yeah, I told him to come watch the show today.
Oh, that was
So
so
yeah, I
nice
do a
of you.
guided semester where I meet once a week with my students and we chat, and usually we go module by module, but this was such a small group that we end up just, chatting about anything. And yeah, the idea is that, you're getting empowered, you're practicing the skills, you're doing it, you're making the mistakes, and you're learning from them.
Very cool. It was so nice to meet you. I just think everyone that's in the raw food community has been so lovely and so non-judgmental of people that aren't 100% raw and very inclusive. So I really appreciate that, as well as the delicious recipes. And I hope people will check out the bundle because there's some questions about it. You can live anywhere and get the bundle. So it's virtual. These are over 50 ebooks worth $3,200. You can, and it's delivered immediately. So we've been posting the link. So please check it out if you like Danielle's recipe and many, many others. All new books, by the way, too. And the books look amazing. Holiday books. There's a couple of party books. Oh, you want to show it? Yeah, you have to talk.
Well, I was just going to show, because the crazy thing about this book is when Chris Kendall, he asked me, hey, do you want to be part of this bundle? I'm like, sure, I'd love to. By the way, whatever you submit has to be brand new. And this was a month ago. And I was like, you mean I have to make a new book in less than a month? I have to make over 20 recipes, photograph them all, put them in a book, edit the book, do all that. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to have a party at my house. So I organized, I got all the mise en place, got everything set up, made a bunch of sauces and things ahead of time. And in one day, I photographed this whole book. So there's the hands and the spread of like all my friends. Yeah, got all the recipes, and we had them making the food, and we had them tasting the food. And in this book actually highlights some of the greens, the local greens. So we don't have kale, and we don't have Swiss chard. Actually, we do, but what's really eaten is things like katuk and amaranth and moringa and cranberry hibiscus. So little bits of information on those. Yeah, and pizza, of course, raw pizza. Any raw food vegan needs to be able to make a good pizza. And then dragon passion fruit ice cream, which is dragon fruit, passion fruit, and a bit of cashew. And my friends, actually, that's my friend Nati there. She's the one who made the necklace for me. So, yeah.
Jerry's saying, how do you save the bundle on your computer? Do you get a flash drive? Jerry, they send you an email, and I don't know much about computers, and I just click download and everything downloaded, and then I put them in a folder and they're right here on my desktop. So yeah. I mean, it says that you have a year to download them, but when you download them, you have them for life. So, I heard you mention in another one of the lives is that it would take you 4 years to go through every single recipe. So it's literally a library of health for the rest of your life. And it's not just recipes. There's advice. There's raw lifestyle tips. There's, books about fitness in the raw food lifestyle. There's courses. So it's so worth it. And, what is the catch? Well, the catch is it's only available for a very short period of time. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to click the link just to see what's available, including the holiday cookbook, which was, I'm part of that. And also I contributed exclusive videos from a conference that, unless you went to the conference, one of 300 people, you didn't see these videos. And there's also business courses too by Ted Carr that are fantastic.
I clicked him and I booked a call with him, and I'm going to actually talk with him too.
Yeah, his course was fantastic, and he's got a new one this time. Guys, check it out. You'll be so happy you did. Where are today's sauce recipes? Well, they're in the bundle. That's where they are. Yeah. Yep. And you can also watch YouTube to see them as well. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much, Chef AJ. Yeah, really pleasure to meet you. And, once I discovered I was going to be on the show, I went down the rabbit hole, learned a lot about you and your story, and your authenticity is so empowering, and that's what I also hope to bring to the world. Authenticness, all of me, to inspire others to go on this journey as well.
Well, thank you. Mandy, who's raw, is watching today. She said it was an amazing demo, and Jerry says she's going to get the bundle, and that is incredible. And you know who's on to show tomorrow, Danielle?
Yeah, Dr. Graham.
That's right. And you know how that
Yes.
happened. It's so interesting. He was on the show. We did a week's worth of just raw food education. And when his wife was on, she was talking about these kale chips he makes. And it's like everybody wanted to know the recipe. He's going to be making his famous kale chips tomorrow.
Amazing. Yeah, awesome. Amazing.
Right.
This is I am so blessed to be a part of this. It makes me feel so good to be connected to this international community of people who are really trying to do good in the world and help people genuinely. Because we know, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, all these, diseases of affluence are quite prominent. And I think it comes from a lack of education. It's like we just don't know how to make the food taste good. We just don't know how healthy food is. We just don't know how it feels good to feel so healthy that we have all this energy. At 40 years old, I feel like I'm 20. So
great. Well, thank you so much. You look great. Your kid's adorable. And thanks so much for what you're doing.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, if you want to follow me, just check out Pachavega at Instagram. Also at in the link.
I got all the links you gave me clickable right in the show notes. So if you're on
Perfect.
Facebook, go over to YouTube, you can see all the clickable links. Take care, Danielle. Thanks for the wonderful recipes.
Thanks, Chef AJ. Have a great day.